Welcome back. Sakuvuselana uLathanza kusivulela. We're now joined by Lindo losuka enkampanini Eswatini Communications Commission. Dokumlo ukuthi eminyakeni lophelile basokumisa umsebenzi lapho khona tinkampani netinhlangano leti-register noma ke leti-processa i-personal data yamakhasimende ukuthi di-register with the Data Protection Authority. Kubuka ukuthi ngabe bangenda kanjani ukuthi kona isiqiniseko sokuthi i-personal data yamakhasimende iphephile. Last year ke tinkampani letinge kwa 400 takhona kubhalisa nalo leli bandla sekufike isikhathi ke sekukuthi ba renew this year. We're joined by Lindo utazivela nje sithombe sebumcoka bale process lena. Very good morning Lindo, thank you for joining us. I think nasingaqala nje on the importance of companies and organizations, entities, institutions ukuthi ba register for ku Data Protection Authority.
Thank you so much for having me today. So, EMA organizations are required to register with us as the Eswatini Data Protection Authority because it is a requirement as per the law. Besides the fact that they have to comply as well, it's basically even building a trust with people because each and every time you share your personal data with different institutions, you want to believe that that personal data is going to be protected and it's not going to be shared with other people without your consent. So the Data Protection Act is basically here to give people the right to privacy, as is it also enshrined in the Constitution that people have the right to privacy. It also actually brings back the dignity to people to say that each and everywhere that I go, if I'm going to go to the clinic, no one else is supposed to know why was I there, what sicknesses do I have, as well as if I have a bank account, no one else is supposed to know how much do I have there, and it's not supposed to be shared with other people as well. So that's why it's basically important.
Okay, so let's talk about the compliance level. As I did mention that over 400 companies registered last year, companies in the health sector, hospitality, banking sector. What was the level of compliance from companies?
First is just to commend all the organizations that actually registered with us. So we did have over 400 organizations that registered within the 6-month period that we gave the organizations, including even churches as well, which was one of the key things that made us excited as the authority as well. So, but then also we do have some of the organizations that still haven't registered, which is basically meaning that all the personal data they are actually processing right now is basically being processed illegally. So any personal data that you are basically processing and then you haven't registered with the authority, you are processing the personal data illegally.
Okay. So were there fines or penalties implemented to non-complying organizations last year? How are you going to go about going after companies this year?
Okay, so as the Data Protection Authority, we have done a data mapping exercise, actually a stakeholder mapping exercise where we identified all the organizations that process personal data in Eswatini. So we actually know which organizations haven't registered. So this year we are going to be issuing out enforcement notices and demands to all those organizations that haven't registered. And then the act basically comes with very hefty fines, which is 2% of your annual turnover, which is a lot of money. And then also you not registering, you're basically saying that you are not accountable for all the personal data that you are basically processing for people. It's basically going back to even the individuals. Every time you go to an organization, it's important that you get there, you have a right to be informed. You get there and then ask them, are you actually registered? Because if they are not registered, it means that they cannot even protect your personal data.
Yeah, but do these companies understand their role and implications of the Data Protection Act?
Most of the organizations actually understand that. So as the authority, we've actually gone out to teach about data protection. So we've gone to like hundreds and something organizations. We've actually done on our social media, we have tools that we teach people on why it's important for organization to comply. We've actually had roadshows as well when we're going out to the people to understand why is it important for organizations to comply.
Yeah.
So we've done the runarounds about that. And also we've even gone to churches. So we've gone to a conference of churches where we were actually teaching why is it important that even the church is required to protect the personal data that they collect.
Okay, so the process of registering, is it a long process, or why is it that some companies are still reluctant to register with the authority?
Okay, I think some of the organizations are still reluctant because they don't believe the importance of it. They don't believe that processing personal data is that of a big deal. So one of the key things we've been teaching people is that when you collect people's names, you collect people's surnames, you shouldn't even look at it like it's just a name and a surname. It's basically people's lives. It is people's dignity. So every time you collect that kind of information about people, it's important that you protect that personal data, and it shouldn't be even shared with other people without your consent. And then we've actually made the registration process very easy. So all organizations that are required to register are supposed to go on our website, which is www.edpa.org.za. And then on our website, you're going to find a big register where you're going to find a form where it will actually ask you why are you your organization details, and then it asks you what kind of personal data do you collect. So you then tell us, oh, you collect names, ID number. Even when you have CCTV cameras, most people don't even realize that just having a CCTV camera in your institutions, you are processing personal data. So then after you're going to say, who do you collect the personal data from? What is the legal basis for you to process the personal data? And then also, you're then going to submit that form on that website. And then also we can take you through the process. So some of the organizations that required our assistance with regards to the registration, we actually did a Teams call where we'll take you through the journey of the registration. We can even assist you on how to even answer the question, because some of them, people think that some of the questions are actually technical, and then it's not really technical when you sit and then you look at it, because it will ask you, what are the security measures do you have in place? And then us, we just tell you that don't even think about it so hard. You just have to just say, where do you store your personal data? Filing cabinet, already that's a security measure that you have in place. And then for the renewal, we have also put out a form, a report, annual report, where an organization can go on our website and download that. And then when they download that, they can fill in that information and then submit it to us. And then they are required to renew every year.
Yeah. All right. Have there been an instance where there's a leakage of clients' or customers' personal data with a high rate of fraudulent activities happening nowadays? Have you received reports of any leakage from the different sectors?
Yes. So the Data Protection Act requires that under Section 17, that all organizations that have data breaches are required to notify us within a reasonable time. So the regulations will actually come soon, where it says that within 72 hours. So we have received a lot of data breaches from financial sector, from health sector, from different entities. So one of the key things we do there when we receive that, we just investigate the data breach, and then also we issue out enforcement notices. Some of the enforcement notices we've issued out as the authority, we've actually put them on our website. So if you want to know what organization faced a data breach and what recommendations we gave through, then you can go on our website and see that.
No penalties at all for that organization?
So because it's a journey, data protection is a journey for a lot of organizations. There are penalties for some organizations, but then at the same time, us as a regulator, we are practicing proactive regulations to say that let's take them through the journey first before we then take out the stick and say that if you're not complying, then you're going to be hit by the stick.
Okay, so I recall that last year there was a deadline for registration. Is there a deadline even this year for companies to renew their licenses?
So for the renewal, it's actually based on the time you got your certificate. So on the certificate, you're going to see that it will say that maybe you got your certificate 16 April, which means that the following year, before 16 April, you are required to renew your certificate.
Lastly, before I let you go, process of registering, let us go through it again.
Process of registering?
Yeah.
Okay. So the process of registering is basically going on our website, and then you'll find a big register, and then you can register as a data controller or a data processor. And then from there, you'll be required to sign up where you provide your email address and then your credentials as well. And then after, you are then going to be able to access the form for registration. And then when you register, you just have to provide who you are as an organization, what kind of personal data do you collect, who do you share it with, and why do you collect that kind of personal data, as well as what security measures have you put in place in order to ensure that all the personal data you collect is actually protected.
All right, thank you, Lindo. Well, there you have it, Mbugeli. If you want to register your company or organization, do visit their websites. Let's go for a break. Next, we talk to Sibusiso Ngubane from Nurture.